I want to get the elephant out of the room right now. What is with these intense and elixirs? It's just going far and beyond what I thought this would go. I feel like a lot of them are just the same over and over again. A lot more disappointing than I thought. They're getting stronger and stronger, but the cringe is just going up and up. These companies, they've got no other ideas, no other excuses, hanging on to the last trendy thing that they had, and they're not going much further. And some of them, I actually feel like they just destroy the whole brand in general and give them a really bad reputation. If you like the sound of this video and want to see more fragrance videos, feel free to subscribe and like and comment and tell me, what do you want to see less of? What do you want to see more of? And let's get into it. Elixirs Muse. I've actually had a lot from this line and I've talked about all of those fragrances. Feel free to have a look. So there is one fragrance called Muse, which I'll be talking about. Baby Cat, Tuxedo. They're doing all the main ones and also Muse. And this has all got to do apparently with the ink. I really would like to see how different these are to the originals. I really don't see the whole point in redoing it all. It would have made more sense if they just called them X-Straight. Is it worth actually getting compared to the original? I personally believe it's probably worth just getting the original. It probably performs just as well. So this one called Muse, powdery, buttery, woody, and leathery notes of iris concrete, compares it to both paper and skin for its softness, but they're more skin scents. I don't know. Incense, lavender, ochre, and clary sage. And this would be really nice and soft. Orris, amber absolute, bourbon vanilla absolute. Ink accord, amber woods accord. I feel like this is just another fragrance, to be very honest with you. There's this one fragrance that I'll put up here that I feel like have done really well what paper smells like onto a scent. I would actually go for this one. That inky type of scent, nostalgic to a lot of people, and I can see why a lot of people would like it. I don't think it's really worth getting. The originals are just the same, if not better. Penhaligon's, and it's the Fortunatus Finley, I think it's called. I'm going to say already, I would be a really massive fan. Hermes coming together with Penhaligon's, they would make this scent. It's all about the horse. It's all about the leather. The main accords in here are leather, woody, salty, animalic, powdery, smoky marine, nutty violet green, a salty marine musky kind of vibe to it, as well as the leathery accord. But something that I'm kind of interested in is the salt and pistachio at the top. Pistachio is one of those things is that you're either going to really like or you're going to be really weird about. And pistachio is really much like that. Then you've got violet, then you've got leather and sandalwood. I would really like to see what this is like. I do love my leather scents. So it's good to see another leather scent in here. Labo Eucalyptus 20 is described as a woody, amber, fresh, spicy Albanian, balsam, cedarwood, obviously eucalyptus, labdanum, hyssop, red thyme, and musk. This one was really interesting. The way it opens very soft. I actually thought it was going to be a lot sharper than what it is. It's actually a really warm scent, thinking that it was going to be a lot fresher, obviously with the eucalyptus. I think the eucalyptus, if you took it out of here, you can really understand what this fragrance really is. A very warm, autumny scent, and I really do like that they didn't add vanilla in here. Labdanum and Albanian, when you put those two together, it gives it a really nice resiny leather kind of accord. Autumny, really bright, fresh and dark. And then with the cedarwood, it holds it all together. So I really like this one. It just seems like a very Aussie scent. I just don't get anything that I personally want in this one. So Creed Ilidaria. This one they call a rose at daybreak, or that's how they describe it. I don't think they actually talk about what rose is in here. They are really known for Creed Aventus, Green Irish Tweed. I like to see them going a little bit of a different route. They do also have a strawberry scent that just recently came out, but I haven't talked about that yet. So at the top, they've got pink pepper, bergamot, and mandarin. I have seen a top note like this before. Every time I see pink pepper and mandarin at the top, it's going to be heck sweet. Powdery notes, peony and lily of the valley. And then you've got vanilla, ambrox, and cashmere, and musk. If anything, I'm wholeheartedly going to say that this probably smells a lot like Burberry Her. I have seen this whole note breakdown in Burberry Her, but do I think it's still worth it? No. This type of scent, these tend to be really obnoxious after a while. They give anyone a headache. Quite a loud scent, especially for Creed. I think that I'm judging a bit too early as well. I would have to try this myself and see what it's really like. Kirky by Macy's Francis Kirkjan. Now, I just came across this today, to be honest. And from the sounds of it, it's a fruity, sweet, musky, powdery vanilla. And I really hope it's not another Burberry Her free package, because this is actually the guy who made Burberry Her. So let's see if there's anything different in here. Raspberry, peach, gummy candies, fruit notes, white musk and vanilla. I think that maybe there's a bit of inspiration from Burberry Her again, but in saying that, it is much more candy, it's much more gourmand. So it looks like learned from people's feedback from Burberry Her, face palming what people want more of. And in this case, it's much more sweetness and much more creaminess. And all I get from this, it's like a milky candy drink. And I mean that in a really nice way. He's actually probably one of the more active perfumers out there. I would like to see what this smells like. I would never get this myself. It's a bit too much for me already. And then we have Armani Privé Iris Blue. This one is described as a white floral musky woody, citrus powdery aromatic green floral, bergamot, galbanum, lemon, iris butter, and jasmine. I've never tried iris butter, so I wonder what this smells like. If anything, it's going to be really floral. White musk, cedar, and oud. I think that this is going to be a really nice scent. For some reason, I think this is going to be really different. When it comes to the Armani Privé range, they've got some really awesome ones. One of them is Santal Dunja, kind of like a sister to Santal 33 in a lot of ways. Another one is Rose d'Arbre, and I think that one is really nice as well. Cousin to Le Vestiaire range, because they do come from the same parent company, and they would have a lot of the same perfumers doing their private lines. Chanel Chance Splendide, I believe I want to say. Chanel doesn't come out with too many fragrances, but when they do, it's normally quite big. The last one that they did was Allure Musk, I think it was. And that one I was not a big fan of. I feel like the way that they were going with that, even though it was a limited edition, out of all the marine musks out there, it's a nice one, but it's nowhere near where what they've made in the past. This one is described as a fruity floral, and I would have to agree, but it's much more floral than anything. It's just a really light floral. And the notes that are in here, violet, red fruits, peach, raspberry, rose. Then in the middle, you've got iris, rose geranium, and then right at the bottom, you've got white musk and cedar. Now, the actual notes themselves are really nice. What do I get from this? I honestly think that this is a very similar composition to, again, Burberry Her. Now, I feel like this is a little bit of a trend to see something like a very rosy strawberry kind of situation, along with something like the iris, musk, and cedar. And altogether, you would think that this would smell very similar to something like a strawberry milkshake or something like that. But this is not what I get. What I get from this is a lot of peach, a lot of violet, and a lot of rose geranium. That's what I get. And that's really all I get. I'm not balanced enough. And I think this is a little too light. Do I think someone would enjoy this? Yes, I would. I think anyone would. Chanel is much more mass appealing than people think. They've got such high expectations, big price tag, a lot of people to please, and they want a lot of people to buy their stuff. So do I think that a lot of people would like this? Yes. Do I think it's anything different? No. So I'm just going to move on to the next one. So YSL Libre L'Eau Nu. The whole word. I have to say this already. This one I really don't like. I've tried it and it is quite a heck of a scent. This is something that I feel like, look, what I appreciate about this is that they are trying to do something a little bit different. But at the same time, I feel like all they really did was put an orange twist on this, and it's really just the same. So it's a white floral, lavender, sweet aromatic, and it's got a citrus top. So the whole thing about this is that there's no alcohol in here. So they made a fragrance and they thought, well, this is kind of gross, but let's give an excuse why this is gross. So let's say there's no alcohol in here and put no alcohol in here. That's what I feel like they've done here. So it's mandarin, lemon, orange blossom, lavender. I do not like this. I think that this is kind of crap. I think that this is not worth anybody's money. If you're wanting to get something like this, I can think of a million fragrances that are like this. Anyone could make a scent like this. It's lavender, orange blossom, mandarin, and lemon. Like, is that what YSL is doing? They still have the lavender in here, but that's it. They've gotten rid of everything nice about this and they've put in crappy things. They're just chucking things at the wall at this point, and I don't know why I'm so frustrated at it. I think it's because I see Libra on a daily basis at work and I'm kind of sick of it, to be honest. If any Libra is worth it, it's the Le Parfum. That one is a perfect ratio of ingredients, and it's sugary sweet at the same time, very creamy, but it's really well rounded. So if you're going to get anything, go for at least Libre Le Parfum, Dior Homme Parfum. So this one kind of spot on to the original, in my personal opinion. This actually smells more like the DNA that I remember than any other. Iris, amber, patchouli, vetiver. But it has like a sweetness to it and it has a complexity to it. It does remind me of the fragrances that I used to wear when I was younger. And this is going back to maybe like a decade ago. And that's when like a lot of those really strong fragrances came out. A little bit like the original Ultra Le Male, a little bit like the original Dior Homme Intense, and going to what it actually smells like. Le Male Le Parfum, Ultra, Armani Code, Givenchy Society, and I got to agree with all of this. And it was made by Mason Francis Kurkdjian. He's like the only person that is consistently making fragrances these days, and that is a lot. Compared to some of these others. Like the only ones that I've really liked so far are from Mason Francis Kurkdjian. Now talking about all the intenses. Dior Homme Intense 2025 revamped some of their flankers and they've made a new one. The thing about Dior Homme Intense, a lot of people find that it's probably one of the most polarizing scents out there because not only is it really masculine and classy, at the same time really addictive to wear. It's all about that iris. And it's a really deep, rich scent. It's very masculine, but people really love that. So what do? Iris, amber, and cedar. That's all they're telling us. But I think we all know the DNA of Dior Homme Intense in a way. So the accords are obviously iris. Then you've got musky, floral, powdery, woody, violet, earthy, aromatic. I've heard that this is not as good as people expect, and it's because they made a really nice one, apparently one of the best, and then they got rid of it. Back then, it was lavender, iris, amber, pear, Virginia, cedar, and vetiver. That added lavender, pear, and vetiver made a really big difference. The 2025 version apparently doesn't have any leg to stand on compared to this one still. So I don't know why they don't just bring it back and just bring it back for good. There's no reason why you can't. But I have a feeling that they just don't want to use this right now until it's the right time. Maybe even make a Dior Homme Elixir.
I don't think so.
Like, whatever they want to do. I can actually totally imagine that. Just revamping this when they can make the most money.
You're going to regret saying that.
So, heard it's not as good. I have to try it myself. I really liked the pear in there. Burberry Hero Intense. So the Burberry Hero line, I actually really like the EDT. But in saying that, all of the others are actually just as good. But it looks like they are going into another route, which is leather. So leather, it looks like a lot of fragrances are just coming out as leather fragrances. There's so many of them. But I can't really say anything bad about that because I love a leather fragrance. But whether or not it's too much is another thing. But it looks like they are going in the right direction here. So they've got black pepper, leather, and cedarwood. So it really looks like they've just added the leather and pepper. But what else they've done is that if I can put anything on this, they've also got a little bit of the EDT DNA in here too, with the fresh, spicy elements of all the other ranges from the Hero line. And they've put a little bit of either of them and all of them into this one probably, and then added more leather. Whether or not they go a little bit too deep is another thing, but I always have loved a leather scent, and I can see this going a really nice way. This one is going to be woody, smoky leather, then and animalic, and then when you pair that with the fresh, spicy, warm spicy, sounds really good. That's all I'm going to say. So Hermes, they've made Harry D Hermes Intense. I had a chance to try it before its launch, and now it's actually released now, so you can actually go get it. at work. When I used to work at Hermes, I had to wear Terry D like every single day. Luckily, I actually really liked it and it's really grown on me. So out of all of them, the parfum has to be Chef's Kiss, but also the others are just as good too. What Terry D is in a nutshell, it is warm, fresh, spicy, autumn, clean stone scent. Think of a Chypre and a clean stone. That's what Terry D is in a nutshell. And I really, really love it. Bergamot, black pepper, middle, coffee, licorice, and then base is woody notes, lava, and stone. So this is really nice. With the coffee and the black pepper, it really drives it up. But that coffee is really smooth and really aromatic. But that licorice is kind of sweet. And then the lava, if I had to get rid of one thing, it would be the kind of smoky note that's in here. And what made Terry D Hermes what it is that they had the flint. So the flint is kind of like wet stone kind of scent, but this time they actually put stone. It's a mineral note, and they've done it really well. And I feel like a lot of people would really, really enjoy this. Flower Bomb Extreme 2025. This was in the works for a while. I really do like the Flower Bomb kind of DNA. Seeing an extreme version of Flower Bomb would give me a headache already. I'm not surprised there's a raspberry at the top, rose, orange blossom jasmine, and vanilla bourbon. Do I have to say it again? This sounds like another Burberry Her reinvention. So let's see how this goes. But again, it goes back to this. Why does everything smell like Burberry Her? Maybe it's by coincidence. I'm not sure. So Spice Bomb Metallic Musk. What is happening in here is aldehydes, black pepper, alamy, bergamot, cinnamon, clove, musk, leather. I feel like they just chucked anything they wanted at this and that was it. This is so random. Like aldehydes, then black pepper, alamy, bergamot. Like, let's say that bergamot is just in everything anyway. Black pepper and alamy do go together, but the aldehydes, look, they used to say that aldehydes kind of like bring the fragrance out more, but I feel like aldehydes really no one has ever liked. Who actually likes aldehydes? Probably no one. Synthetic, bitter, bright, I will say it's bright, but that's it. But I don't think it's worth actually putting in anything anymore, because people know when it's in it and people just think, wow, this is weird. And it's not that it's just weird, it really is that there is something bitter in there, and that's the aldehydes. So they really could have done without that. Cinnamon and clove. Clove? What? Like, seriously? Like, this Christmas? Clove? Like, I don't know whether this getting a Christmas pie and throwing it in the air. That's exactly what it seems like. Like, if you were mid throwing a Christmas pie in the air on a spring day, so random. Anyway, then down the bottom, you've got musk and leather. So half of this is like, it's so bipolar. That's all I'm going to say. Who knows, I might even really like it. I don't know. That would really be fitting. And then we've got Mugler, Alien Extra Intense, Amen Stellar, and Angel Stellar. So let's talk about the Alien and Angel first. So Alien Extra Intense, you've got a woody vanilla powdery amber green, but let's be honest, they are holding on to what Mugler really is. They're making it into something that it's not. Mugler would have never made something like this, but I think it has a little bit of potential. The fact that it's made by Dominic Ropion. He's also, I think, the person behind the first Alien as well, I believe, if I'm not wrong. Let's see. So Petitgrain, tuberose jasmine, vanilla cashmere, and amberwood. I would love to see how good this is, and people really love the whole tuberose jasmine thing. So the next one is Angel Stellar. I will be honest, I'm actually a huge fan of Angel. There is something so nice about the Angel DNA. The whole vanilla and patchouli, always really, really loved. It's described as a woody patchouli, nutty, green, warm, spicy, earthy, balsamic. I think that this is going to be really nice. I just think that there's something about it that I'm going to be really drawn to. But the pistachio is always a weird one to think about. Whether or not it's actually worth getting is another thing. But you can't really beat the original Angel DNA. The one thing that Angel has drawbacks to is that the DNA is a little bit old. Like, something about it that feels old, feels kind of like dusty, to be honest. And if they were to make it a little bit more modern, I think a lot of people would buy it. And another thing that it has not going for it is that Angel has the ugliest looking packaging for this era. Like, to be very fair, not a lot of people get it because of the packaging itself. Because it is a bulky, obnoxious star that does not really fit in your hand properly. And it's just really ugly. But apart from that, what's inside is actually really, really nice. But then we're going on to Amen Stella. So Amen is coming back, and I feel like that's because people were really disappointed that they got rid of the other ones. I don't know why they just don't bring the other ones back, because that's what people really want, is that they want the Amen collection back. It makes sense to do something like that. But instead we get something new, which I can appreciate. This one is a really nice kind of gourmand, the musk, tonka bean and coffee, all at the bottom. And this is a really nice blended base. Middle and top, which is mint, lavender, pistachio and bergamot. There's a really nice extreme mix of really deep and really light. And this one out of all of them is actually quite nice. But looking at it, it actually looks quite weird. But that's the whole point of MUGLER. Can I see other people buying it? The only reason I don't see people buying it is because it's Amen and not many people really know its potential. And the fact that it's been acquired by L'Oreal, people just don't like the mix of all that. And the fact that they got rid of all the other ones. So I kind of feel like no one's going to get it in spite of the fact that they got rid of all the others. So that's their own fault. And the Elixirs. A little bit of a headache already, so let's see how this goes. So I've been anticipating this one for a while, for quite a long time. I've been thinking about it since I've seen it, and I'm waiting for it to come here. This is another leather scent, but not from what you would expect. This is from Acqua di Gio, Elixir. So from the images, it looks like it's only going to come in a really small fragrance, which is, it just looks ridiculous. But anyway, so everything that I like about a scent is in here, paired with things that I hate. Right at the top, you've got aquatic and citrus. I hate that. But then you've got ozonic, woody, fresh, spicy, leather, patchouli, aromatic, earthy, green. How many accords do you really want to put in one fragrance? I just want to say, like, is this too much now? Yes. So you've got bergamot, green mandarin and nutmeg, then you've got violet, watery notes, then you've got leather patchouli, vetiver and labdanum. I think that this will be really nice. The watery notes goes back to one of their original Acqua di Gio. The nutmeg is something that I hope is not too much. The violet leaf I'm really excited about, I guess. But this looks really, really good. And I really want to try this. I think that this is something to gift. This is something to have. I think I just really like the base, if anything, with the leather, patchouli, vetiver, and labdanum. That with the violet leaf. That sounds really, really good. Especially with that mandarin. Really like that. It's really that bergamot, nutmeg, and watery notes that it's really hitting me off. So I just want to see how good this is. A 50ml, it's $2.40. Jesus Christ. Anyway. All of these are made from Puce. There is so many of them. They are making an elixir for every single one of their fragrances. And I'm not even kidding. Just make a new fragrance. And I'm just going to talk about these all together. Limau Elixir Absolute. Limau Ultra. So the Ultra Limau. They have relaunched that. Scandal Home Intense. Paco Rabanne Million Elixir, Very Good Girl Elixir, Good Girl Blush Elixir, and Phantom Elixir. Did I miss any? And also Bad Boy Elixir. And I'm not surprised. I think that's it. So these ones are a little bit obnoxious to look at because it's just too much. And I just feel like they're worth talking about for this reason. They are giving people what they want, but at the same time, they're kind of ruining their own brand by doing this. Later down the line, they're going to look at these and it's going to look really bad by having so many of the same flanker, and it's going to be really forgettable. And not only that, it's going to get really confusing. So I think it's a really good way to make a quick buck, but these will be forgettable in the next year or so. And I feel like they know this already. So that's why they've done this so quickly. And that's why there's so many of them. So they're just giving people what they want. And I can't blame them. They can't just keep riding on the tail ends of other fragrances that used to do well, because all they do is get compared to, and people are just disappointed. So they don't buy it. In this case, I feel like there's been like really good ones. I'd like to know what you guys think about this. If I'm wrong about any of these, is there anything else that you would like me to do in the future? I've done my head in with all these fragrances, but if you did enjoy this video, feel free to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.